Patrick Bet David makes a racist joke about Don Lemon. Chris Cuomo's here. Let's just get into it because it's pretty interesting. Thank you so much for watching Bring the Asteroid. Make sure you like today's video, subscribe, and we'll get into it.
Can you pull up the Don Lemon clip, Rob, if you have it? Here's Don Lemon, and I want to give you two clips. I'm going to play Don Lemon, and I'm going to play Chris Cuomo, okay? Both were at CNN. Obviously, Don Lemon was never at the levels of Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo was a face of CNN, but Don Lemon was a guy that at one point, he used to say some things that was actually pretty solid, right? But I'm talking 10 years ago, a long time ago, right? I don't know if you have the Don Lemon or not. Here's what he says. Don Lemon says Trump should lower the temperature, stop threatening democracy following assassination attempt. That's what he is saying, okay? So he urged Trump to stop threatening the second assassination attempt. If Donald Trump wants Kamala Harris and others to stop saying that he is a threat to democracy, then he has to stop being a threat to democracy. Trump, is this him, by the way? Or,
yes.
Okay, go ahead, Rob.
Crooked Joe, Crooked Hillary, Crooked Kamala, Comrade Kamala, deranged Jack Smith, bird brain Nikki Haley, bloodbath if he's not elected. There won't be another election if he's not elected. Bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, poisoning the blood of our country, destroying the blood of our country, which was something that was Hitler-esque. Communist, Marxist, fascist, left-leaning that live like vermin. Sons of bitches to NBA players. Shithole countries. Haiti was one, and now he's blaming Haitian immigrants for things. Blood coming out of her wherever, as he talked about Megyn Kelly. And so if Donald Trump wants Kamala Harris and others to stop saying that he is a threat to democracy, then he should stop threatening democracy. Perhaps he shouldn't be trying to overturn elections, overthrow the government, and inciting insurrections if he doesn't want people to be honest about what he is, who he is, and what he's doing.
So
Crooked Joe,
this is Don Lemon,
Hillary.
Back on CNN. You're seeing him on CNN all the time, okay? Now here's his colleague, Chris Cuomo, who's at News Nation, okay? Who's at News Nation. Here's how he reacted to the assassination attempt. It's slightly different than Don Lemon. I'll let you be the judge of it. Go ahead, Rob.
And you can think what you want about Trump. He does not have many more full-throated critics of what he says and does than me, okay? And yet I called him today because I am ashamed of how we are responding and not responding to the threats on him. And I feel for his family. And I know you can roll your eyes and say, oh, yeah, he asked for it. Listen. That's your choice, and I think it's a wrong choice.
Who's he talking to?
The people that are saying
we got to get out of the judgment business unless it's judging ourselves. And you got to start rewarding things that are better. And I got to tell you, I don't know how he stays in the race. I don't know how he got up after being shot in the head. And you people who try to mitigate that, you need to check yourself.
Before you wreck yourself, say it.
That's right. Yeah.
He gets up, pumping his fist, stays in the race, barely even talks about it. Now, look, I do believe he has wasted opportunities, and he has another one now. Who better than Trump to say, we can do better? I can do better. I know he keeps doubling down on his angry rhetoric. How can he not? It keeps working for him. I don't know that it gets him elected. My theory is that he needs to expand. He had a chance to do it after.
Has he said that he called him or not yet?
The target of an assassination.
Okay, you can stop it right there.
At the RNC.
You got two different guys. You got Lemon, Cuomo, both no longer with CNN. One still has a good relationship with CNN, keeps going back on. Chris, Independent News Nation, they're doing great. Tom, how do you process these two different approaches?
So I see a very rational approach coming from Chris. And Chris has consistently, and still is now, a critic of Trump, his methods, and some of his policies. As a matter of fact, right after he does this, I think a day later, he was talking about he disagreed with this policy. And so I think Chris is out there. Lemon is just coming back, trying to find legitimacy, and he's doing it by just throwing red meat to the Democrat liberal crowd. And
this guy's commentary is always spot on.
Sits there with, I think it was Aaron Burnett, and Aaron Burnett didn't look convinced. And plus, Lemon's going down a list that's like 3 years long. How about if someone else goes down a list of what the Democrats have said to and about Trump in an inflammatory way. I think Lemon is really disingenuous about calling it as if this is a one-way street, an attack on democracy. And if we want to talk about attack on democracy, we have one of the first presidential candidates in history that never went through a primary process. After we actually held a primary process. So I think Lemon is looking for, he's looking for headlines. He's trying to reestablish his legitimacy, and he's just throwing blood to the dogs and getting people to react to it. When you could do the same thing about the Democrat candidates. And now you got Chris saying, hang on a second. You know what? We're not Venezuela. We're not Mexico, where how many candidates have been assassinated just this year in Mexico? In areas controlled by the cartels. And what Chris is saying is, hey, you know what? Don't you think about him as a human being? You may not like what he says, may not like what he's doing. And I just felt it was a very balanced, very rational approach to kind of where we are as a country. And Don Lemon, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It was just disingenuous.
Yeah, by the way, again, Don, of all people, of all the, and I get Chris has had his history, and and our audience, everybody knows about the COVID stuff and all that stuff. But Chris has turned a completely new leaf, and I respect the hell out of him for just being completely honest. Don Lemon, zero respect. By the way, you were fired, and you're showing up at your old job, just hanging out and still talking the same BS that you've been talking about since 2016, right? He was fired, right, Rob?
And he's showing up for free.
And he's showing up for zero money.
He used to get paid to go on CNN and give his commentary. Now it's worth nothing.
It's zero, and nobody cares. And all that stuff that he said, Pat, about Trump says mean, again, since 2016, he's saying mean things. How many assassination attempts on Biden? How many assassination attempts on Kamala, on Barack, on Bill Clinton? Zero. Nobody believes your bullshit. It's all that side coming after us, okay? And since 2016, and when you call somebody Hitler, since 2016, he is Hitler. And finger on the nuke, Hitler. What do people do when you call somebody Hitler? The guy that killed over 12 million people, 6 million Jews. What type of rhetoric is that? It's unbelievable. And I think something about Don Lemon, he has that Hillary factor. They keep showing up like a fly at a barbecue. You're like just get the hell away.
Like the fly on Mike Pence's head that wouldn't go away.
Exactly. So I just think it's ridiculous, Pat. And it's like these people don't realize we're thinking past Trump, life after Trump, because that same media, the same lying BS they're going to do to anybody that comes in that goes against their narrative.
What's the strategy? Accuse the
other of what you're doing. That's projection. I'm just sick and tired of it. I'm just tired of listening.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
I have a theory. But Adam, let's see what you're going to say, and then I'll
you know what I really haven't noticed about the people that don't like Trump and attack Trump? They rarely, if ever, attack his policies. Interesting, right?
Yeah, weird.
It's always attacking the personality. So, and that's actually easy to do with Trump. That's not hard to do. We get it. He's a sensationalist. He's sort of a shock jock. He's outrageous. The rhetoric is, that's Trump. We get it. But that's the easy thing to do, Don Lemon. The harder thing to do is actually examine his policies and say, yep, I don't actually like the drill, baby, drill. And here's why. I'll tell you why. But you don't really hear that. Hey, actually, I don't like the fact that they should remain in Mexico. And here's the reason why we should have open borders. Yeah, I don't know about that. I actually don't like the fact that he wants NATO to pay. Maybe we should diagnose it. I never hear that. I always hear he's a threat to democracy. And all he does is say ridiculous things and he belittles people. We know this. Yeah. We know this about Trump. But guys, go deeper. And the reason that I like what Cuomo's doing is that at least he's being rational. He's like, look, dude, what are the chances, by the way, that Cuomo's voting for Trump? I'm putting that very close to zero. I don't know if it's zero. Very little, though. But at least he has the rationality to say, look, man, this is getting way over the top. Cooler.
Yep, and it is. And I used to say, who's more annoying, Don Lemon or Chris Cuomo? And I guess Chris Cuomo is becoming less annoying. So Don Lemon being gay too, it all makes sense. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time.